guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, I just got a new model in. I ordered a few of them as soon as they came out, and I'm really excited to show it to you because I'm a big Pontiac Fiero guy, and this is my thing right here. So let's tear this puppy open and take a look at it. And why don't we take a look at the original ones that were released, and we'll compare the two and see what the differences are. Come on, let's just jump right into it. Alright guys, we're going to start with just taking a look at the two original releases of the 1985 Fiero GT from Monogram. It was originally released in the smaller box in 1984 as a 1985 model, and then released again in, I think it was 2002. They re-released it in a larger box. I don't know why they put a larger box in it. The model was identical from the original release to the re-release with no changes whatsoever, including some of the problems and issues that the body had. There weren't a lot, but there were a couple of issues with it. All they did basically was zoom in a little bit more on the photograph of the car, change a little bit of the colors, and we're using pretty much the same picture, the same everything for these two boxes. So now that it's been released by Revell, and I just got mine in, we're going to take a look at it and see what the differences are, if there are any that they may have changed or modified, or what they may have done with the new release. I'm really excited to see this. So why don't we just get these two out of here and bring the Revell one in, because this is going to be cool. Okay guys, this is the Revell new release of the 1985 Pontiac Fiero GT. And as you can see, it's got an extremely cool box. I mean, look at that. This is just screaming 80s. Look at the colors, the graphic, the graphic design there. This just screams 1980s to me. Now, one of the interesting aspects, if you know Fieros, if you look at the one that they have here on the box, these are actually the colors of the 1984 Indy Fiero pace car. Now, they don't have the Indy Fiero markings on it, but the lower gray cladding, the red pinstriping, that's the white wheels. These are the exact colors of the Indy Fiero pace car, which used the exact same body as the 1985 Fiero GT. As a matter of fact, that's where the 1985 Fiero GT's body originated, was in the Indy pace car. So I find that kind of interesting that they use the Indy pace car as the basis for the box artwork, and the artwork is fantastic. I mean, this is a fantastic looking cover. I really like this. It's an amazing improvement over the original box top. Let's just bring that in here. Let's look at the two of them. Now, the original one's pretty cool. Gives you a nice look at the model. But this bit of artwork here, I think just kind of screams 1980s to me. So, if we look at the two boxes, you can see under the Monogram name it was released. Here we have it under the Revell name. 1/24 scale. We'll take a look at the sides of the boxes. This one has a lot of really cool pictures of the built-up model itself. Some details are wrong, such as the engine with the silver valve covers, with the chrome valve covers. That's completely wrong, but hey. Nothing we can do about that. We'll just move along with it. Now, let's take a look at some... if we look at the box top, we can see that there are quite a few things that are wrong with the model on the 1985 box, as opposed to the new release, such as the mirrors on the box art here are completely wrong for the car. Not really sure what those mirrors are supposed to be on the box art. Don't know where they came from, but they're not even included in the kit. The mirrors in the kit are correctly shaped. Don't really know what that is, but that's kind of weird. And now if we also look at the rocker panel and the lower cladding, on the 85 GT, they were always painted a contrasting color on the lower moldings. While this one has the rocker panel painted a contrasting color, they are body colored everywhere else on the car. And that is incorrect. Now, as far as the new release, everything's done correctly. It does use the aftermarket scoops, same as what's on the box art here on the photograph of the model. And that is incorrect for the color scheme they're using, which is the Indy Pace car, but I guess they just wanted to showcase one of the aftermarket features. And everything else, the other details, as far as I can tell, they all look correct. So let's take a look at the sides of the box. If we look here and we look here, on the original box you have all sorts of pictures of the original model. On this one you have all descriptions of features of the car, characteristics. You have Revell trying to sell you all the paint that you can use on this kit, including a nice listing of what paints you're going to need and use here. That's kind of handy. So you buy the model, you'll know exactly what kind of paints you need to paint it. That's very handy. Box art on the sides, on the ends of the boxes are basically the same as what's on the cover. And on the opposite side of the box, on the monogram box, you have a description of the car with a pretty nice picture of the built-up model here. On the Revell box, you have, much like Revell's latest offerings, most of their newer car kits show you pictures of the car. You have a full call-out of the decal sheet, which has a lot of decals. None of this was included in the original kit. A little build-up of the interior there. You can see a couple of pictures of the model there, which at first I thought they were just pictures of the original model, but no, they're not, because the valve covers are painted correctly. So this is a new build-up, probably this model right here. Okay, very cool. So that's the differences in the boxes between the original 1984 release. There we go. 1984 monogram, made and printed in the USA. So this is back when we used to make them here. This is, of course, 2025, manufactured Revell, Germany, but of course made in China, much like just about everything else. So let's see if, well, can't even say whether the Chinese quality is going to be better than the original because they're using the same molds. So let's just see if the molds have held up over the years. Let's open this puppy up and see what's going on in here. Now, I've already done a few unboxings of this kit on the monogram version. So basically, we're just going to be looking at what's different in the Revell version as compared to the monogram. I'm not going to go through every single part because they're all going to be basically about the same. So let's just take a peek in here and see what we get. Well, already you can see the packaging is different because unlike the originals, which are all thrown into one bag, here we have our glass. I already see something different here, which we'll point out in a minute. And we're going to put the body in the same bag with the tires. That is not a good thing. If you guys are going to buy these things and leave them and not build it right away, store it away somewhere, you know what's going to happen with these tires. They're going to burn their way right into the body. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is just separate them. And prevent that from happening. Now, one thing you can notice right away, which I am extremely happy about, molded in anything but red. This is molded in white, which is fantastic as far as painting goes, because now you won't have to fight the color bleed through. As opposed to this here, which is my Indy build, which is going on now. And as you can see, we're fighting the red bleeding through the white. This is just white primer, but it takes on almost a, I'm not sure if it translates very well on the camera, but it has almost a pinkish color. because the red is bleeding through. So we're going to try a trick that I heard of. I've never tried it before, but I'm going to try and spray this in silver, which is supposed to kill the red 100%, and then we can spray it in white. So that's going to be something that's coming up on the build. But as you can see, we have the white body. It's a really nice, highly polished white plastic. Seems a little thin, almost translucent. And then everything else is in the bag. Now, one thing I'm noticing right away also, there is no chrome in this kit, which is something of a trend that I've seen from the Revell reissues, is that they're eliminating the chrome from the kits. So that's just something that you're going to have to deal with. And include in your build. All the parts otherwise are looking basically the same as what's in the monogram kit. So let's take a look at what else might be different in here. Here are that great set of decals. And check this out, guys. I think they have the holes for the speakers in the seats. Not really sure, but that's kind of what that looks like. Except we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8 of them. Well, we're going to have to look and see where those go. We have all of our marker lights. Oh, that is great. They have the marker lights, the side marker lights, and the front and rear red reflectors and the front amber lights. That is pretty cool. Hey, we have the Pontiac arrowheads, all of the Fiero emblems, the nose badge. Not really sure what that is. We have that is really cool. They have the engine silver trim work as a decal. We have all of our body trim. The red would be for the Indy, and then they have all the other colors as well. Wow, they have a tiny Fiero emblem. Not sure where that's going to go. All of our gauges are shown up as decals, where I had to paint them on the Indy that I'm working on. And there's the gauge face. That's pretty cool, but they didn't include one for the radio. So how are you supposed to match that? All right, that's going to be interesting. It's funny they didn't include one for the radio, but they did include one for the instrument cluster. Meanwhile, the instrument cluster is engraved. Now, unless they change that, we're going to take a look. Now, let's look at the instructions and see. Here we have a description of the car. Matter of fact, why don't we just hold the instructions for the original 85 GT. Big difference in the instructions. The 85 Fiero GT from Monogram has basically one sheet instruction booklet. You guys have seen this before on the channel, as I've gone through the unboxing of that kit. The Revell has an entire booklet with all of your color callouts. And this is one thing I do like about Revell. They describe every part and every part number so that you'll know exactly what it is you're looking for, what it's called. It's actually a pretty good way to learn a little something about automotive assembly. And now, looking at the diagrams for assembly, you can see we have all of our paints callouts, our decals that we're going to be applying to the engine, which is very cool. It's going to have a bunch of different decals for the engine. That is neat. So that is going to make for a really nicely detailed piece. As this engine build-up is really nice. The V6 is a really good build on this. More decals. Oh, that's pretty good. I had to paint that on the last time I did it. This is all, basically, I think it's all new artwork in the instructions. Similar, but not exactly the same as what was in the original release. But judging by what I'm seeing here, assembly is exactly the same. as the original release. And here is one step that I think they just translated the original. Let me show you this. When you install the steering rack and the sway bar, they tell you to put the front subframe in first, which if you do that first, you're not getting these two parts in. That should actually be reversed. Now let's take a look here. Okay, step 13 and step 11. Yes, it's basically the same. And then step 10 and step 14. Yeah, they've made a few changes to the artwork, but it's basically the same artwork. So then we keep going. We see more of the assembly here. Here's the entire instrument cluster and all the decals that you'll be installing into the instrument cluster here. Nothing for the extra gauges, nothing for the radio face. All the color callouts for the interior, the seats. Here we have all the color callouts for the body. Here's the glass. And here's final assembly of the chassis to the body. All of our body attachment parts. And it looks like they still have the incorrect, even if you use the stock panels, it looks like they have the vent on both sides, where the Fiero only had it on the driver's side, the air intake. Here's the hood with all the attachment points there, showing you have to drill out the 3 holes there to mount the snorkel. Our wing is a 3-piece wing, just like the original. Everything here is the same. Okay, here's our taillight call out, our mirror assembly, and here is our decal application here, which even in the picture it looks like an Indy. All it needs is to say Indy there. And here we have the air intake on the passenger side, which is incorrect for the car. This is the one that I have to fill in every time I build one of these. All right, so that covers our instructions and our decals. Let's take a look at the model itself, or at least the parts that are going to interest us for this video. And here is the body. Now, this body on the original release had several faults. Let me just get an original body here. Okay, guys, and here we have the 3 different releases of the 1985 Pontiac Fiero. The 1984 original release, which came in a red color. The 2002 reissue, which came in this dark, almost, I want to call that like almost like a wine type color. It's an odd color for the model. It's still in the red family. And then the brand new one, which is in white, which is, trust me, it's a lifesaver that it's in white. So these two, other than the colors, are identical, down to the faults in the body. And the one major fault that's in the body on this one is, as I've pointed out before in my other builds, you see that? That's the re-release. And you see that big low spot in the body right there? Right along the edge there. It's in the original. They never corrected it for the reissue. And that is a real problem spot in the body, trying to fix that. Because you're trying to fill this in while trying not to lose the detail on the molding here, going around the corner. And it's a real problem spot for this body. And then we have the lip, which is at a low spot right in there, which is the same on the 84 and 2002 releases. Where the 84 release is actually worse. The 2002 looks a little bit better than the 84 as far as that really bad deformed area in the rear of the car. You know, then you also have some low spots in the roof here for the pegs that you attach the windshield to. Other than that, it's really not that bad. You're just going to have to do work, especially here on the rear. Now, if we take a look at the 2025 release, look at this, guys. Looks like they've corrected that issue. It's almost perfectly smooth there. You can see a slight reminiscence that there was something there, but they fixed it. That was the worst part of this kit. There's still a little bit of distortion there, but hardly anything. If you just built it as is without doing any sort of work here, you're going to get a pretty good model out of it. Really happy that they fixed that. Now, the little deformed area down here is still there. I don't know if you guys can see it there, but it is still there on the new one as well as the old one. Other than that, they seem to have corrected the little... No, there's still a little deformation here. It's a little better. Now the plastic also seems... No, they're about the same thickness. I thought it seemed a little bit thinner. No, they're about the same, it seems like. But all of the detail work is just as good as the originals. Except what I'm noticing, no. It looks like, I'm not really sure, can't really tell, but there is engraving in the marker lights in the front, which I think they've removed from one way to tell. Let's just do this. Nope, it's still there. You can't see it because it's white. Because this is where you're going to be putting your decals for your side mark, for your signal lights. But other than that, you still have your Pontiac script on the headlight cover, which is still wrong because that's supposed to be engraved, not raised onto the headlight cover. But I guess that's okay. And here, the underside looks the same injection molding marks. And a little bit of stress mark on that. We have all of our details that are... Looks like the tooling is held up pretty well. And the fact that they actually fixed the worst part of it, which was this here, I'm very, very happy about. Now, that's one of the biggest differences. Now, another major difference is in the glass. As you can see, the original car came with smoked glass and smoked taillights, which the taillights are correct. They are supposed to be smoked and darker. The glass is not, but it does look good on the model. So I never really had a problem with that. These are all clear. And they look pretty good. We're not going to open that up. Don't want to risk scratching it, but they look pretty good. I don't see a lot of distortion in there. And the taillight's perfectly clear. That I wish they were still smoked. But that is what it is. Okay, here we're looking at this. The first tree here. Looks like everything looks to be just about the same. You do have all your engraving in the instrument cluster. There's the engine with the intake plenum. The engine block. The molds all seem to be pretty crisp and clean. I don't see a lot of flash or anything. Actually, it looks pretty nice. Especially the engine block. Take a look at that. That actually does look pretty nice. A little bit of flash on the edges of the engine block. You're gonna have to do a little bit of cleaning up of the seam lines. All right, let's just keep taking a peek through here and seeing what else we find. Like I said, if you guys have seen the other unboxings, you've pretty much seen everything here, so we're just gonna kind of fly through it. Now, this is one of the huge differences where all of these parts on the original kit are chrome. They have really good representation. These wheels have always been gorgeous on this model. They've really done a good job with the mold and the casting of these wheels. It's our intake, our valve covers. So there's not going to be a lot of time wasted dechroming, because you have to dechrome everything on these kits. Although I did find that with the chrome wheels, if you spray it with a little bit of semi-gloss clear, it dulls them down enough that they actually look like real aluminum. It really worked out well on my previous build. So that is, again, another one of the major differences. And here we have the interior. That's pretty much the same. If you've watched my indie build, you've already seen me go through this entire interior. All the engraving actually looks pretty good. Yeah, the engraving looks good. Still no map pockets, other than this little engraved feature here. But still no map pockets. So they didn't correct that. Here we have our subframes, one of our engine parts here, the lower intake. Our shifter. It's still an automatic interior. Let's take a look at the transmission and see if it's still an automatic interior with a manual transmission. And yes, it is. They haven't changed that either. It's another one of the errors in the kit, or it brings a manual transmission, which is a really nice casting, this manual transmission. And I can see that it's still as crisp and clean as it was on the original. But it is a manual transmission with an automatic interior. Here we have our exhaust, which the exhaust was always one of my least favorite parts because I never liked the exhaust tips on this car. They just don't seem to sit straight. I've used them on every build. I think when I build one of these, I'm going to modify these and fix this. So there we go, guys. That's the entire kit of the brand new release of the 1985 Pontiac Fiero. Basically, it's all the same. Oh, look at the steering wheel. Pretty much all the same as the original. Yep, there's not a lot new to look at here. Just a few differences that I've pointed out, which, if we get rid of all of this, which is all the same, let's put all these parts back in the box. Okay, so if we put all of those parts back in the box, these parts here are your major changes in the kit. No chrome, improved body, and clear glass. So that's it, guys. That's a quick look at the brand new release of the Revell 1985 Pontiac Fiero GT. If I really can't say I've built enough of these kits, and they've been a blast to build every single time. It's really a nicely molded kit from Revell. That's always bugged me. It's not, there's nothing here. It's just flat. It should have, yeah, that's just something else that I'm probably going to modify on the next time I build these kits. But again, this is the Indy that I'm working on right now. And you can see here, I've repaired that rear section. That involved quite a bit of filling and sanding till I got it to where I thought it was acceptable. And I'm glad that they've taken care of that and repaired that. The interior does build up really nicely. But you guys can just follow the series that I'm doing on this car, and you'll see exactly how it goes together. Or you can watch my other two series of the other 2 times that I've built this car on the channel. Alright, guys. I have quite a few of the original releases, and I've just picked up 4 of these because I'm a Fiero guy, and I just can't get enough of them. So that's it, guys. I'm going to go now, and I will see you on the next one.